Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play DGS. Now, normally this would be where we would be continuing Case 5 into the trial, but I have a friend who is doing one of the voices in the trial that is in Houston, and if most of you know, Hurricane Harvey hit Texas kind of recently, obviously. He's fine, where he lived thankfully did not get flooded, so for the most part he's okay. But, of course, he has to deal with a lot of post-hurricane damage that happened after the hurricane passed. So he hasn't really been able to keep up with the voice work to submit stuff. So, for the time being, I decided we can just go ahead and just do these DLC stuff that I know I was planning to do later on, but I figured, you know what? Why don't we just do it now, since I have the chance to do it? So, basically, these are the Randst magazines, which came out one episode every week, basically, after the release. I think the first two were free. I don't know, it's been a long time since then, and you can get them as they're coming out, or you can get a season pass. That means you get all 8 of them. There's 8 of them. And they're like little extra stuff where there's like a character episode and some director notes, some just additional background stuff and information like that. I'm not gonna go through all of them because I'm afraid this might get hit by YouTube copyright if I did that, because, you know, these are DLC stuff and it's kind of sensitive. But I will go into each of the character episodes, which this one has Naruhodo and Asogi, obviously. I don't know if these are canon or not, but I like to feel like, just because of the way it's play out, I feel like they are. Because they kind of fall into certain places in the main story. This one here happens just after Case 1, but before Case 2 even starts, and then the next one, this one happens before the whole case started in Case 2. Like, they're on the boat, but the whole case hasn't started yet. So, yeah, I don't know, I feel like these kind of do count as, like, actual canon facts, but, you know, you guys can take it how you want. So the first one we're going to start with, which is with Asogi and Naruhodo, and this is the episode with tongue twisters. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not great with tongue twisters. I'm even worse off with Japanese tongue twisters, and they use Japanese tongue twisters in this one. They're the common ones that you can hear from in Japan. But me being not the greatest at Japanese pronunciation, and my friend who does the voice of Asogi, who is even worse off than me, we apologize greatly if we screw up pronunciations of the Japanese tongue twisters. It wouldn't be right for us to say it in English because then the context would be missed. So, I'm sorry, and let us begin. It is November 22nd, 3:08 p.m. in the Supreme Court, Defendant's Lobby, number 5.
Look at this! My poor treasure! No matter how I scrub it, I can't erase the stench of meat!
If you ask me, you should be grateful just to have it back.
What?
Excuse me, sir. Could I look under this seat cushion for a moment, please?
Anyway, don't think this is over, you rotten soldier! A crook who'd steal a poor old man's treasure will end up tossed in jail for sure.
What? If that's going to be your attitude about it, then I'll... do you mind, Sergeant? I'd like to look under the seat cushion too, if you don't mind. Sure.
Just try, you old coot, if it comes to that. Just know that if I, Uzakumara, were to be imprisoned, my Kuromaro would likely die a few days later as a result. Hiding behind your child like that? What a cowardly trick.
Did you not try to hide behind your status as an old man mere seconds ago? If you're going to use that, then what's wrong with the strategy of using my child as a shield to attack from behind? Excuse me, I need to look under that bench cushion you're sitting on. Oi! Your shuffling around is getting on my nerves. Don't mind me.
You're the murderer with the restless eyes from the trial earlier.
My eyes may have been restless, but I'm not a murderer.
What's got you flipping over the seat cushions under our butts? You were checking under the seat bench cushion, too.
Well, actually...
Well, Naruhodo, did you find it?
No, it looks like it isn't here, Asogi.
Honestly, I've had just about enough of you, Naruhodo.
So what's this all about? Did you lose something?
Yes, to tell the truth, we were just about to head out and celebrate his victory. When...
I suddenly noticed that my student badge was missing.
Your student badge?
The thing that was pinned to my collar. Oh, indeed. I must say that a collar without a badge pinned to it is awfully bland. I thought maybe if I went around and looked underneath things, it might turn up. Like the proverbial gold coin under the stake, see?
Quit trying to turn that into a proverb.
But I've turned over just about everything and I haven't found it. So that must mean that someone saw their chance and stole it, or... Quit glancing over at me like that! I won't go for any old thing simply because it's made of metal. If my little Koromaru were to swallow something like that, it'd be stuck in his throat.
Can't be helped. I guess we just have to throw in the towel, Naruhodo. If you provide your student ID number, you should be able to get it reissued. What is it, Naruhodo? Don't tell me you...
I don't remember my student ID number. Oh my god.
You... This is your second time losing your badge, right?
No, the third. Oh my god!
I knew you were forgetful. That's why I told you to write it down somewhere. Do you at least remember me saying that?
Now that you mention it, I feel like I do kind of remember someone saying something like that. Huh. So it was you, then.
You even forgot that?
Cut me some slack. Our student ID numbers are 6 digits long. How's anyone supposed to memorize them?
Yume University was only established very recently. There still aren't that many students enrolled there. I believe only the final 3 digits of our student ID numbers are actually used.
Well, that's true.
Don't give me that "that's true" garbage. You should be capable of remembering a measly 3 digits.
I'm ashamed of myself. Naruhodo, please, come on. Don't you pride yourself in memory?
Well, in any case, you're really something, aren't you?
Eh? You mean me?
You're a lawyer while still being a student, and you were able to believe in your questionable friend here and defend him.
What does he mean, questionable?
No, I'm still just a young whelp, full of flaws. That became abundantly clear to me last year. Thanks to this friend of mine, I was forced to acknowledge my critical weakness.
What?
I did that? This is the first I've heard of it.
Naruhodo Ryunosuke. Surely you haven't forgotten. It was last summer, at the student debate competition.
Debate? Oh, that?
The students would take the stand one by one, and make a speech about a topic of their choice. And the one with the most intensity and persuasion was the winner. Yes, that competition.
Your speech was really fiery. Everyone else was floored.
I was aspiring to become a defense attorney. Naturally, I had to win. I mowed down the competition one by one, and the one I found myself up against on the final round was you.
Yeah, that's right.
The first time I laid eyes on you, rude though it was, this is what I thought. This cocky, restless-eyed novice doesn't stand a chance against me.
You're right. Not only was that rude, it went way too far.
But that overconfidence ended up inviting a humiliating, crushing defeat upon me.
What on earth happened?
My speech blazed with a passion that caught the hearts of the audience. At least until the final word of my closing statement.
The final word?
Yes, at the very last second, on the most critical word, I crashed and burned.
What?
So what you're saying is, you had a slip of the tongue.
Yes, that's right. Even when I think about it now, I can't forgive myself.
Just, what in the world did you say? And can you even say it right now?
You say it, Naruhodo. I couldn't possibly.
Sure. Alright. I remember it well. As I recall, the final word you said... No. The final word you tried to say was this. Now, this is the time to rise up, lads and ladies of the laborer class, vernal and venerable. Obviously, there is a Japanese pun, but my friend decided to translate this into a English-fied tongue twister. And that's not even a word. And what about that was a slip of the tongue?
Indeed. I didn't hear anything wrong.
In that case, sir, would you mind trying to say it for yourself?
Sure, why not? Lads and labels of the Labrador... Impossible. Impossible!
I was able to say the now, this is the time to rise up part perfectly. But as for the bit after that, I spent 5 minutes trying to correct myself, and never was able to say it properly. And I ended up falling to my knees in front of the platform in despair.
And then the students who've been fired up by your speech started heckling you. Why don't you rise up first? And stuff.
Oh, sounds like a truly hellish situation.
Meanwhile, this man's beautifully pronounced speech clinched it. What was it that you said?
If memory serves. You need to cherish your mothers and fathers. Don't you agree, folks? Or something.
And I ended up losing to this speech, which wasn't even worth the loud voice it was recited in.
That's... all I can think to say is that I have no idea what to say to that.
But, well, you have a point. Lads and ladies, venerable and venerable. See, I did it! Lads and ladies, veneral and venerable is kind of difficult to say.
After that, there was only one question swirling around in my head. Why is humanity made up of old and young, male and female in the first place? It's thanks to that I had to try and force myself to say
I hope you can find an answer to that question in Great Britain.
In any case, after the cursed debate competition finished, I caught up to you and asked, how is it that you're able to speak so clearly and decisively? You gave me this sunny smile and said, tongue twisters are my hobby. Who says that?
Could you not grab your katana when you say that? Anyway, what's wrong with having a hobby?
And then you repeated those magic words, as if it were the easiest thing in the world. You can't possibly imagine What a blow that was to me.
Well, you're right about that. I can't imagine it. Tongue twisters. A bizarre hobby, but it suits you. But some of them aren't that difficult. For example... Let that go through. Okay. Nama Nume, Nama Gome, Nama Tamago is a pretty well-known one. Ah, even an old coot like me can say that one. I doubt there's anyone who can't say a simple one like that. Right, Asogi?
Nagamugi.
Crashed and burned on the second syllable, huh? By the way, those 3 items would be considered such a feast at my house that I'm salivating too much to be able to say them. Come to think of it, looking back, it was around then, wasn't it? That somehow, I ended up taking lectures at the same university as you. We ended up having patriotic debates at the Beef Stew restaurant in the student village.
You always chose Vaudeville entertainment halls or Rakugo for your topics, though.
Did I?
In any case, I swore to myself that I'd never forget the blow that I took that day, as long as I live. And the proof of that is this red headband.
Are? Can I ask you something, Asogi?
What?
I suddenly feel like I completely lost track of what we were talking about. How are those two things related? That headband and, this proof you talk about.
Like I said, it's about those magic words you so triumphantly rattled off at that competition.
The tongue twister?
After practicing until my tongue bled, I finally become able to recite just that one.
What the heck kind of practice were you doing?
This is a perfect opportunity. Listen closely now. Here goes. Aka Hachimaki, Aoi Hachimaki, Ki Hachimaki. How was that?
I actually considered asking you once before about the reason behind that headband. Don't tell me it was...
That's right, so I never forget the shock and humiliation I suffered that day. That's what this red headband represents.
Well, I don't know what sort of shock you felt that day, but I can tell you with certainty that the shock I just suffered was so much worse.
What?
Let me just start by saying this. What you just said was a little different from the tongue twister I recited that time.
Eh?
It's at least as famous as the Nama Mugi one, so I shouldn't even have to say this, but it's Aka Makigami, Oi Makigami, Kima. Ah, fuck! Oh, what? I almost had it too. Okay, Ki Makigami. Okay, I don't know what happened. I just stopped. Okay. Aka Makigami, Oi Makigami, Kima Makigami. You know?
What? Mama
Now that headband of yours suddenly makes me kind of uncomfortable to look at.
It's not too late, though. You can still wind some red wrapping paper around your head. The youngster's face has gotten redder than his headband.
Yeah.
Poor Asugi! This is just tongue twisters and he's so upset over it.
This is why I hate the Japanese language. But I do love their swords.
Asogi, you can't mean that this is why you've chosen to go to Great Britain.
Of course not.
Excellent! Now we've learned Asogi's greatest weakness, tongue twisters. Alright, we're done with that episode. We shall continue into the next episode in the next video, so it's on the steamship with Asogi as in his perspective. Yes. So I'll see you guys then.
I mowed down the competition one by one. I basically decapitated Naruhodo. You remember that, right? No way, I think the blood got in your eyes that day. There's your Arnold Schwarzenegger joke.
Stuff and information like that. I'm not gonna go through all of them because I'm afraid this might get hit by YouTube copyright if I did that, because you know these are DLC stuff and it's kind of sensitive. But I will go into each of the character episodes, which this one has Naruhodo and Asogi, obviously. I don't know if these are canon or not, but I like to feel like, just because of the way it's play out, I feel like they are. Because they kind of fall into certain places in the main. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play DGS. Now, normally this would be where we would be continuing Case 5 into the trial, but I have a friend who is doing one of the voices in the trial that is in Houston, and if most of you know, Hurricane Harvey story, this one here happens just after Case 1, but before Case 2 even starts, and then the next one, this one happens before the whole case started in Case 2, like they're on the boat, but the whole case hasn't started yet, so yeah, I don't know, I feel like these kind of do count as like actual canon facts, but you know, you guys can take it how you want. So the first one we're gonna start with, which is with Asogi and Naruhodo, and this is the episode with tongue twisters. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not great with tongue. Hit Texas quite kind of recently. Obviously, he's fine. Where he lived, thankfully, did not get flooded, so for the most part, he's okay. But, of course, he has to deal with a lot of post-hurricane damage that happened after the hurricane passed. So he hasn't really been able to keep up with the voice work to submit stuff. So, for the time being, I decided we can just go ahead and just do these DLC stuff that I know I was planning to do later on, but I figured, you know what? Why don't we just do it now, since I have the chance to do it? So, basically, these are the Randst magazines, which came out one episode every week, basically, after the release. I think the first 2 were free. I don't know, it's been a long time since then, and you can get them as they're coming out, or you can get a season pass. That means you get all 8 of them. There's 8 of them. And they're like little extra stuff where there's like a character episode and some director notes, some just additional background